Arsenal have completed the signing of Ezri Konsa from Aston Villa. Really came out of nowhere. Obviously, been linked with him for pretty much a while, but for a deal coming, we didn't really know if it was going to happen because I also valued the player around maybe 30 to 40 million pounds. Villa wanting 60, and that's a still big gap. And you're thinking, is this going to happen? We got linked to Konsa, we're going to look to alternatives, but no. Obviously, we saw earlier today that we're getting closer. The agreement was coming. And then obviously today you got the official, well, not official, but you got the main two. Obviously, David Ornstein saying Arsenal have reached an agreement with for Ezri Konsa fee to be around 51 million plus add-ons. Obviously he said goodbye to his teammates and his medical will be on Thursday, so he's confirming that the deal is done. And of course, more confirmation. Yeah, Fabrizio Romano, Ezri Konsa to Arsenal. Here we go. Deal done in over around 50 million add-on, so it's around that 50 million mark. And obviously, medical going to be taking place in the next 48 hours. So the deal is done. Arsenal always wanted another defender because obviously we know with Saliba's injury, they wanted maybe cover for him and wanted to get somebody like a Konsa, and that was obviously the number one defensive target, and they've managed to get him from Aston Villa. Listen, I imagine people will be happy about it, but people are still waiting for the attacking signing. That's the main thing. This is more depth, but I think this is a top signing. I've always thought, I'm not just saying this now because he's an Arsenal player, but I've always thought when I've watched Konsa, I've always thought he's a top 5 centre back in this league. I think he's a brilliant player. His channel defending, very good. He has good pace on him, can read the game well. On the ball, I think he's pretty good as well, so he can play that kind of football. Box defending, I'm not sure he is still good at it, but I don't think that's one of his best abilities. But I've always thought from Aston Villa, this guy he's a top centre back. He's a very good centre back man, and I'm a big fan of Ezri Konsa. And him coming to Arsenal, never really thought it'd be a realistic, but I think that Saliba injury has really opened up an opportunity for him. People are saying, is it needed? I think it is, because yes, obviously we have lots of defensive depth. You have Mosquera, you have maybe White you could play there, etc. You have even Marley Salmon, but I think Arsenal wanted a experienced Premier League player to cover Saliba's absence, because Saliba will be gone for a little bit, going to be out for a few months. So do you really want to rely on inexperience in Mosquera and Salmon really taking up that role? Maybe not. Maybe you do want an Ezri Konsa in there, somebody who is experienced, who can do the job, and it doesn't hamper the development of Mosquera or Salmon, because Konsa's 28. People are saying, why are we spending 50 million on a 28-year-old? But I think this is more of a win now signing. This isn't one that we're going to be like, oh, for the future. No, we have centre backs for the future. Marley Salmon looks quality. Mosquera, we have some very good young defenders, but an experienced guy to come in and just adapt straight away. Saliba will come back, and you want somebody who can do a job straight away and kind of cover. You're not going to be as good as Saliba, but still do a very adequate job. And I think Konsa next to Gabriel, I think they complement each other much better than maybe Mosquera would. And I think it's a good signing. People are saying what happens when Saliba comes back, and obviously Konsa would go on the bench, but again, we have loads of games, so he will still play loads of games, as I said. And again, you don't want to rush Saliba back, so even when Saliba is back, do you really want to play him 90 minutes after 90 minutes? I don't think so. So this is a chance to actually get some adequate cover for Saliba, not a young guy, somebody who can come in and do a very good job. And I think Konsa starts for most teams, to be honest. I think he's a top centre back. I really rate him, as I said, his attributes on the ball, channel defending. He's a very good Premier League player. Price tag 50 million. Maybe a bit too much, but considering he's Villa's, probably best centre back in my opinion, they've got Champions League football. They, don't ideally want to sell. Perhaps this was always going to be something like this, so maybe a bit too much. But listen, I'm not complaining. Arsenal clearly wanted the player now, and I think for somebody of his quality, yes, he's 28. As I said, not a long-term signing, but I still think he's going to bring a lot to the club. And listen, our defensive depth is just. It's off the roofs now, isn't it? Left back, you have Calafiori and Nkambi. Left centre back, you have Gabriel and Mosquera. Right centre back, Saliba and Konsa. Right back, White and Timber. We have 4 players no, with 8 players for those 4 positions. So, and again, some of these guys are injury prone. Maybe Gabriel could pick up another injury. Will Ben White, Timber, we need to rest. So that's why we have got some more depth. So people saying it's unnecessary. I disagree, because what if White gets injured? You're going to have to move Mosquera right back, and then who plays there? You're going to chuck in a Salmon at 16? So something like that. That's why I think we needed this depth. So now we can rotate right back with Mosquera. Him and White can rotate. Salmon could come in for cup games, but you have Konsa there. So again, I think this is a very intelligent signing by Arsenal. And now the main thing we're waiting for is our attack. Obviously, I think that's the defensive depth done, at midfield done. Now it's just the attack. If before the window closes we can get one top attacker minimum, I think this has been an excellent window. But for this signing, I'm extremely happy. As I said, Arteta, he loves going down that Premier League experience where he wants somebody who doesn't need time to adapt, somebody who's, quality now and win now signing. As I said, like, somebody made a good tweet about it actually, that we're future proofing as well. So when by the time Konsa maybe he's not good for us anymore, Mosquera and Salmon, they would have been developed and would have got more experience and more games. Bruno Guimaraes, by the time maybe he leaves, Lewis Skelly will be older, and whenever he will be older if we can keep him, etc., etc. So that's why we have got these older players, because we still have some young talents coming through. So that's why I'm glad because another young centre back, that's when I think maybe what's the point? But I think in Ezri Konsa, this is a very intelligent signing by Arsenal, and I'm very happy with it. And as I said, our defensive depth is unbelievable, and midfield depth is brilliant. Just need another attacker. But I'm happy, extremely happy with the signing. He won't come in for Coventry straight away, but perhaps his first game for Arsenal could be against Aston Villa. That would be extremely interesting. But yeah, I think this is a very good signing from Arsenal. Interesting that the ownership had to get involved as well, so that's good. And yeah, 50 million. Think it's, both parties will be happy. Arsenal maybe a bit too much, but I think that's okay for the quality of player you're getting. And Villa, yes, they've lost a good player, but they've got 50 million plus add-ons to replace him, so have to wait and see. But yeah, very top signing by Arsenal, a very good centre-back who, again, has lots of top attributes on the ball and off the ball. Him and Gabriel, I'm interested to see how that partnership develops. And again, even when Saliba's back, he'll still play plenty of games. So extremely happy. Just in case he wanted to get an even stronger defence, that's what Arsenal and Mikel Arteta have done. So extremely happy. Ezri Konsa, welcome to Arsenal. That deal is now done. The Here We Go is done, and his medical is set to take place soon.